Hello, beautiful ones. So excited for this live with you tonight. I hope this gives you some big breakthroughs of how you've been showing up and where you're getting in your own way of massive growth. I will be speaking softly because my baby girl has just gone to sleep. So let me know if you can't hear me. And when you come on, put down in the comments where you're from. And hopefully I can actually respond to your comments and actually see them this week. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are talking about you not needing all of the information. Oh my God. I laugh because I see so many women putting themselves in this holding pattern because they think when I get enough information, then I can make a decision. And I used to be like that, right? It's like something that we do to protect ourselves and it keeps us out of action. Hello, Karina Brooke. Darling, would you do me a favor and post a comment so I can see if the comments are working this week? Because I know last week they went, yay, they're working, woo! Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to dive right in, darling. Come join us. Anam is going to be joining us for this lit as fuck Q&A.
That's what you should call these, not Q&A.
All right, darling. So come join. Come.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to dive straight in, make the most of our time together. Can you put a bella on? Great. I even dressed up for you. Aren't you proud of me? I am never dressed up like this at this time of night. Come sit down. Come and show us who you really are. Come on. Get those hot Bengali curls next to me. Here he is, my gorgeous soulmate. Look at him, isn't he cute?
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, see if you can get a bit closer, darling. Okay, it's awkward, but that's fine. All right, so we're going to dive right in. I've actually written
Can you
a
imagine
lot.
if I just do this the whole time?
Yeah, that would be weird, but I'm cool with it. I'm okay. If that's, yeah. He's a strange one at times. Anyway, I want to make sure that you're in this as well because Anam's got some amazing things he wants to contribute. But look, at the end of the day, this whole conversation is super, super important for you to get that when you keep telling yourself, you know, I would do that thing, I would take that program, you know, if I had more information. And we see this with so many people. We're like, what do you need to know? You know, for a start, we have a website, testimonials, podcasts, like features in Forbes. And I'm just going to use Soul to Soul as an example because it's actually not about the information. The reason you keep putting that forward is because you've been living so in your mental body, in the mind, right, where you're used to needing to see it in order to believe it. And the irony is that this is how you're living your life when it comes to relationships. You're not actually even in the relationship. You're waiting for it to fail. You're wanting to know in the first couple of dates, is this guy my soulmate? Does he want children? Has he got a nice family? Like, you're not actually being present in the relationship. You're being run by your fear, being totally consumed by the attachment to the outcome. Did you get that? I might say it again because it's really important. When you've been in relationships, if you get really honest, and this was 100% me, so I'll just be the first one to cough up the furball of truth. I wasn't actually present in the relationship because my inner control freak was dominating. Am I saying the right things? Do you think he likes me? Do you think he'll ask me out again? What's his family like? Does he want to have children? Is he ready to settle down? Do you think you want to move in together in 6 months? Like, I'm there, right? Living in the future, out of fear. Not even being present for the person in front of me. And when you want to know everything up front, it's a real turn off to the other person. They're just like, can you slow your, like it is a major repellent. And this is what you're doing with your dream. Your dream wants to be birthed through you. And yet you're like, I'm going to chop off the oxygen flow because I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if this is the thing that's going to help me. And you're doing it from here. And the women that enroll into Soul to Soul and change their fucking life did not make their decision from here, let me tell you. Not at all. Yes, this came to play when they're making the decision, right? The excuses come up. And what if this doesn't work for me? That is the most common fear. But notice in this conversation, it's got nothing to do with information and everything to do with your fear of it not working, your lack of trust. And that is what is running the show. So what we end up doing is we hide behind not making a decision. We hide behind needing more information. When you know, right? If you were actually present with the person in the relationship, you wouldn't have to start thinking about all these future things and looking at your checklist. You'd be like, am I feeling a connection right now? And that's exactly the same thing when people enroll in beautiful soul to soul, which is not just changing lives, it's saving lives. It comes from the heart space of, this just feels right. I don't fucking know if this is going to change my life. It just feels like it's going to. And you know what, Lucy? I'm going to take that leap of faith. And I'm like, sister, you fucking showed fear who was boss today on this call. Are they scared? Yeah. Normally when you're at the edge of a cliff, you're not like, yay, I'm going to jump off a cliff. You're like, fuck. Holy shit, I'm out of my comfort zone. But nowhere when you're jumping off a cliff do you have a manual, do you get information? And again, another irony is you don't know what you're looking for. It's the truth. You don't know what modules you need or what support you need. Otherwise, you wouldn't be where you are right now. You wouldn't be needing support with this. Does that make sense? So it's this real, it shows up in other areas where we definitely need to be wise about, choices that we're making. But when it comes to this, it is purely a heart-based decision. And this is the opportunity for you to actually follow through on that hunch, on that feeling of, oh my God, that masterclass just fucking spoke to my soul. I've got women saying, I cried all the way through it, Lucy. It's like you know me. That is the stuff you want to listen to, because that's your soul talking. That's your heart showing you, hey, this is good for you. And then you go fuck it all up by going back upstairs to the head and you talk yourself out of it. Then you're another year in the same place, sitting in the indecision going, well, I would do that thing, but I need more information. I would have stayed with that guy, but he just was cagey and I didn't get all the information up front. No wonder he ran. He was like, this chick's like not even in a heart space. She's not being a human being. She's being a human doing, and she's boring the fuck out of me. Right? Want to add to that, Dylan?
When you go for more information and you're actually living in your head, what's happening is you're trying to control the outcome, okay? And so it's very important for you to understand that there's nothing to control, because for like 30 plus years, you haven't had the outcome. So the information that you already have within your grasp, within your realm of knowledge and awareness, isn't serving you to this next step, which is to actually meet someone, attract in someone who will be the one for you. So there's no point, like Lucy said, in even asking for more information, because the truth is, you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
The truth is,
just really, I want you to really hear that, because we think,
and we
think that we're doing our due diligence, right? And I'm not making you wrong for that. I've been in that place too. But every time I thought I'm doing my due diligence, I'm checking off the checklist, I didn't take action. I didn't move forward. And I was like thinking, yeah. I'm sitting here with all the cards, right? The trump cards. And it's like, no, you're not. Because you're actually in a holding pattern and you're not following through, Lucy, and you're not trusting your gut. The gut knows, right? You know when something feels right. And every time you turn away from that because of your fear wins. And the universe is like, yeah, this person's not serious. They want to keep hiding behind their excuses. It depends on how much time it's going to take. It depends on how much it's going to cost. It's fucking irrelevant how much it costs, how much time it's going to take. What you need to be asking is this going to get me my outcome? Is this going to change my life? The answer, that's what you want to ask. Is this truly, are you going to hold my feet to the fire? Are you going to fucking call me out of my bullshit? Because that's what I need. And that, when I scratch beneath the surface, when I am on breakthrough calls, that is exactly what my women need to hear. Lucy, I just want to know, can you hold that space for me? Because no one's been able to actually hold that space. And I'm like, great fucking question. I can answer those questions all day long. It's a brilliant question, right? The more information you get, Karina said, the more you go up into your head in justification mode, 100%. And you prove yourself. You can spin the story whichever way you want. Oh, it's going to take too long, blah, blah, blah. Listen, the information is actually everywhere, especially with my program. You only have to look at all the testimonials. We have women that have watched all the testimonials, watched my masterclass 3 times over, hung out in my free group for a year, but I still need more information. I'm like, what planet are you on? Why are you engaging with all of this content and then kidding yourself that you need more information? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So it's really about following through on your gut. And I understand that many of you aren't used to that. You don't trust your instincts. And that's what Anam was talking about. The underbelly of this conversation is the thing you need help with the most. And that is your lack of trust. You've given up. You don't believe after all the work you've already tried. Some of you have done a lot of programs. Others of you have read one book. It doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum. What matters is, have you got what you want yet? And if you haven't, what I'm going to tell you is this is the fucking fast track. Like, I wish this program was around for me 10, 15 years ago. It would have saved me a fuck ton of time. And my women that haven't done other programs, I will literally say, you're so lucky you're doing this right now. And for my women that have spent over $100,000, I'm like, you know what's cool about you is you're so fucking close to the pot of gold and you didn't give up. And this is the extra mile that you're going to give to yourself, which means all of that other work you've done is actually going to show up for you in this final mile that you're going for yourself. I want you to hear that. Most people give up before the pot of gold. And so many of you are sitting there in self-development doesn't work, therapy doesn't work, workshops don't work, courses don't work, because you've had a bad experience. You've been burnt. And I so get that. I've been burnt too. I know what it feels like. It sucks. You feel ripped off. I hear you. I feel you. But this is not that, and it speaks for itself. Like I said, if you only have to listen to women speaking, go listen to them, not even me. And I'm so glad that literally what I'm telling you right now, I had spent, I'm talking $500,000, right? I have now spent $500,000. I think at the beginning, I'd say I would have spent around $250,000 on self-development, and still I hadn't got what I wanted. And instead of going, oh God, this is a waste of time, this is a waste of money, I was like, I know I'm close and there is no fucking way in hell I'm giving up right now. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to go the extra mile, because I know that if I keep committing and keep showing up, that sooner or later the penny's going to drop. And you get it when you get it, right? I have women getting it in week 1, day 1. They're like, fuck, this is mind blowing. And then I have people getting it week 8, day 7, and they're like, fuck, I got it. And we're like, that's perfect. It's fucking perfect, right? So I'm just following through on the notes here.
I just want to add that, you know, a good analogy would be that you're so used to a Toyota because you know how the engine works and everything. And then one day you get the opportunity to go buy a BMW, and the BMW is all luxed out, and it's got this cool engine that is all electronic and all of that stuff, right? So when you open the hood, you don't recognize it because it looks completely different.
Yes.
And so, you know, then you're faced with decision. Well, you know what? Are you gonna then go, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the Toyota because I get it.
This is a great example,
right? No, you're gonna go, I don't get that, but it's a BMW. And I know the reputation it has, and you know, blah 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 blah. And you're gonna actually make a decision not from your head, but with your heart,
because it feels good.
Because it feels good.
Yeah.
Because you know that these people who drive BMWs are a certain, you know, whatever caliber of people of that overcome.
It's another level.
Overcome certain things, right?
Yeah.
So that's really it. Is when you come into when you look at the courses or mentors and things like that. You can't judge based on your past just because it's something that you know.
Yes.
What you have to then make a decision is, well, that person is there and that's where I want to be.
He's good, isn't he, Sheetal? He's good. We've been getting a lot of demand from him. Actually, he's teaching in Soul to Soul at the moment, and people are riveted. I'm like, what am I, chopped liver?
So you know, it's about you going, ooh, that person has that. And all these other people are saying, ooh, I'm getting that too, or that. And so let me actually follow that and feel that. You know, you want to be led by people who have already been there and who are showing you repeatedly over and over again that the process works, and that we're actually getting people from all over the world. It's not like a small little town in Bumblefuck, Maryland or someplace, you know.
We get people from Maryland.
Do we?
Yes.
Anyway,
Don't write off Maryland.
No, but I'm saying that
maybe like the North Pole.
From the North Pole,
yeah.
maybe Santa's village, right? Whatever. But my point being is that we're leading women from across the world, every culture, religion, color, race, all of that stuff, right? Well, actually just one race because it's a human race. But you know, but that's the point, is we're showing you that our process works, and this is the process. and then you come and go, no, I want to dig in and find out how the engine works. Well, you don't know how the engine works.
Because you haven't driven a BMW before.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the Toyota. And what I want to add to this amazing analogy, rock star analogy, is the biggest part of it is I'm not worthy of the BMW. I only know how to drive a Toyota, and it gets from A to B, and I'll just do that, right? Versus I want the creme de la creme life. I want to be on the fucking dream highway where it feels lush and plush and expansive and amazing. And that is an abundance mindset. And so at the end of the day, before so many of my beautiful, beautiful women that join Soul to Soul, honestly, I'm in awe of the women that I get to coach. Seriously, I just fucking love my clients so much. And those of you watching, you know that. And it's like we really care deeply about every single person's process that goes through. We don't take it lightly. It's invite only. But the thing that comes up in that decision is them actually realizing, fuck, isn't it time for me to value myself enough? I'm going to spend this money anyway. I'm going to spend it like anyway, right? On a trip, on therapy, on retail therapy, whatever. My child, if you have children. And so it's never about the money. It's about you valuing yourself enough to go, I deserve to invest in me. And if you're not going to invest in you, how on earth is someone else going to invest in you? If you're not going to learn how to love yourself madly, deeply in every fiber of your being, how on earth are you going to receive it when someone says, I love you? For me, when I used to have guys tell me that they loved me, I couldn't receive it. I didn't get it. I'm like, why? I know that's really like full on to admit to you, but obviously not now. I'm like, I know why he loves me, because I fucking rock and he rocks, right? And that's why you've got to feel about yourself, because that's who you really are, is a fucking rock star queen, worthy of the highest level of love on the planet. So fucking deserving, like born to be loved, born to love, born to receive. And you can afford whatever the fuck you want to, but for as long as you're going to keep saying, no, I'll just stay in the Toyota, then you're not going to have an extraordinary life. I grew up in my family with a Toyota. It was great. It did get us from A to B, but we fucking love our Range Rover right now. It's comfortable. It's got the bells and whistles. And, you know, we just love driving in it. It's a whole different experience. So
it's elevated. It's an elevated experience.
It is. And I've been in both worlds, right? I've literally been going around with my mum in the supermarket when, you know, dad had died and we had a very small amount of money, and my mum stretched that money. And I remember hiding all of the No Frills brands at the bottom of the trolley. Can you imagine? As like an 8-year-old, I was literally hiding them, and I would put a few brands on top. My mum was like so mortified that that's what I was doing. But I came into the world with champagne taste, you know, and I grew up very much on a beer budget, but I always held the vision, Lucy, you're going to have a lit life, a rich life, an abundant life. And I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I've come and created every bit of our life with Anam right now. Like that's
I've watched her create it.
We were in a shitload of debt, right? At one point, trying this, trying that, trying this, trying that, and we didn't give up. It was honestly at the moment where we were just like, shit, we can't put one more thing on a credit card, that we did. And it fucking changed our life, right? Getting that extra level of support. So
it was the last thing.
It was literally like just before we were so close to the pot of gold. And then, you know, I just had a miscarriage. I was going through grief, and I got this download of Soul to Soul. And I said to Anam, I'm going to run a pilot. I'm going to do it. And I did. And some of my clients that did the pilot had already worked with me privately, and they were like, this is the program. And then I, you know, added a couple more weeks to it, and then Boomtown. It was absolutely divine. Boomtown. But I want you to hear that. Like, I'm sitting there in a truckload of debt, right? Just had a miscarriage, but I held the fucking vision. I went, I want my dream more than my fear. I want my dream more than my scarcity. I want my dream more than my debt. I'm going to fucking turn that debt into gold.
Yeah.
Monica, how much is it? Fair enough question, darling. The price is irrelevant. You'll find out if we invite you in. But the reason it's irrelevant is because it's out of context. And when people come in cerebrally, how much is it? You're trying to weigh it up without knowing whether we're even a fit, whether or not we can even help you. So totally fair question, but we never ever share it.
Book in a call.
Book in a call, and let's see what's actually going on with you.
It really depends on how much you want the outcome.
Yeah, the price is irrelevant.
If you're ready for it, really.
Yeah.
I want to quickly just speak about the conversation about investing. you're always when you're spending money and the money is going towards you for self-development and doing things that elevate your joy and bring in your dream, that is investment. That is where dividends pay. That's when anything that you put money towards doesn't it doesn't go to waste.
So it pays dividends.
Right. It
I'd like
doesn't
a
go to waste.
car that depreciates in value.
So we want to make sure that you understand the difference between what is an expense and what's an investment. So whenever you're there, building yourself up, making yourself more powerful, more authentic, more out there doing and living your dream, because there's true, real excitement coming out from your heart, emanating from you, where you're actually
And passion.
where you're actually causing change, where you're impacting people's lives just by existing,
Yeah.
by doing what you're doing, that will never go to waste. And that's what this is. This is an investment towards getting you there.
Your best life.
Your best life.
Yeah.
And so, 30 years of you living in Scarcity Village, in the scarcity story, not because it's your fault, but because of of how you've been socialized and brought up. In the cultures and the education system and all of that stuff, history teaching us that we should work hard.
Yes.
To get rewarded. Don't go chasing after dreams
Well,
because they never serve you.
We'll deem university as something that, anyone I talk to, they've got resourceful for
Meanwhile,
university.
they're not doing anything they
Meanwhile,
graduated in.
they're not using it and they're depressed. The amount of
Yeah.
people I've worked with have PhDs,
Yeah.
gone to Harvard, done this, all the Ivy League schools, and
Yeah.
they're like, Lucy, I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
I'm like, no shit. And so you got to really get, where you're putting your own value. What are you putting it on? Because university ain't the answer. I'm not saying don't go to university, but there's way too many people that are putting their value on education and living a really shitty life, not on purpose, not even using it because they're forever a student. And what this is about is the lit train. 8 weeks, just fucking knock
Yeah.
it out of the park and change your life. Where
The question is, what will the next 30 years of you living completely lit, doing your dream, making the kind of money you want to be making, you dream of making, what would that be worth to you?
Yeah.
Not what it's been worth up to now, because that's a whole different perception. But starting now, if you put this stake
From
in the
this
ground,
moment.
from this moment on, and you go from now and the next 30 years is going to be an unimaginable life, okay? Because I'm going to be open to whatever the universe brings to me, because I am here to receive it, allow it, and just open up to the diversity of it, the abundance
and
of
to
it.
be the best version of you. Because it's not going to happen if you're vibrating in scarcity and good things happen to other people and I can't have a soulmate because of COVID, nothing will change, right? The reason we invite the people in that we do is because they're so fucking done with missing out. They're so fucking done with their poverty consciousness. They're like, I can't go one more day living like this. This is not living. I'm terrified I'm going to miss out on being a mum. I'm sick of seeing other people around me getting engaged. They're like, I'm feeling depressed. I'm worried I'm going to spiral. I've got anxiety. I'm like, yes, sister. Are you ready to change? Yes, I'll do whatever it takes. That is the currency to work with us. I don't care if you've got $70,000 in your bank account right now to spend. If we don't see the right attitude from you and we don't feel like you're all in, we will not invite you in. This is not based on what you have in your bank account. It's based on your attitude and your willingness to fight for yourself, because we've got the proven process. It's a proven fucking process. We've got more women meeting their soulmates in COVID than we have in the history of this program. But what this comes down to is it's a co-creation. We've got the platform. We've got the epic support. You'll be held and supported in a way you never have been before. But can we count on you to commit and show up like the rock star that you are? Because if you do, you will blow your fucking mind and you will change your life and you will it'll exceed your expectations.
Yeah.
So that's where I want you to actually turn inward and go, am I in that place where I'm willing to get out of my own way, to get out of this need for more information and actually go, you know what, Lucy and Anam, like, they're my people. Like, I really feel this conversation. I feel the truth. And if you don't feel that, beautiful. I always say something's either a hell's fucking yes or it's a no. So go somewhere else. Don't even bother hanging out in here. There's no point. It's about really being aligned with your mentor. You've got to go, are they walking the path further than me? Can they actually help me? And that's what I look for in a mentor. I want to make sure they can actually really elevate me and stretch me far beyond what I can do for myself. So I'm testing them as much as they're testing me. So this is your job. This is your due diligence to go, am I really vibrating with this woman, Lucy? Because I do drop truth bombs and I will call you out on your shit, but that's why I'm able to get results so quickly, because I can see straight through all of the walls and the protection and the denial and all of the issues that you've been dealing with. And that's my superpower. But I'm a certain energy, I'm a certain frequency, and my clients love me for that reason, right? So, this is not about me selling you into the program. This is about a conversation for life, whether it's this or another program, for you just to really go, fuck, well, if I'm vibrating with Lucy or I'm vibrating with that guy that runs that program, some other program, that's the program for you. You don't need to overthink it. It's just literally like, do I feel in my heart this is right? And then following through on your heart, because your heart never, tattoo this on your vagina, never, we've got a man in here, or in your penis, never gets it wrong. Never. So stop being run by your head, because you cannot have a soulmate relationship from here. And this is why you keep feeling like you're hitting your head against a wall, because you're not living from the best part of you, the most authentic part of you, the most connected part of you, which is the feeling part, which is your heart. And that's what we do in Soul to Soul. You don't need more information. You need activation. And that is why this, yes, tattooed on your vagina. Absolutely, Monica. You're picking up what I'm putting down, sister.
And also, I just want to add, listen, we don't want you guys to be scared away about the investment and stuff like that.
It's priced so that everyone that's committed can afford it. That's all you need to know. We've got women all around the world, different currencies. Nothing stops them.
We got nurses, we got teachers, we got
dog walkers, corporate women.
That's right, we have dog walkers.
Well, dog walkers, singular.
PhD, like everything. And
entrepreneurs, business owners, you name it.
Yeah, if any one of those can.
Psychologists, therapists. That's the interesting part.
So the fact that all these people, I mean, they're not made of money. They're not coming from. So you need to just trust that. We've got you. The process is there.
Yeah.
The rest is for you to go, can I trust myself to let go and just allow it in?
I love this. Can I actually let myself be supported? Can I let myself be held? I want you to really hear that, because that's what you haven't done yet in your entire life. You have not felt safe to let go. I'm going to drop a truth bomb before we wrap. You have never felt supported, which is why you are this independent woman. As a little girl, you didn't have that space held for you emotionally. And so you've been building wall after wall after wall after wall, because when you look back at who was actually there holding space for you as a little girl, if you get really quiet and really still, you're going to go, no one. My parents loved me, but they weren't actually supporting me in the way that I need. And so this has been your belief throughout your entire life, that I've got to overgive. I've got to try really hard in relationships. I've got to overcompensate. I'm not enough. I can't receive. So you've been living your entire life in your masculine. And life gets really juicy when you can sit back and receive because of who you are, not because of what you do or how much you give, just purely because of who you are. Can you let that in? We've got this amazing man in our program right now, Sean. He's fucking outstanding. He read my book cover to cover, joined him up. For those of you that don't know, yes, we've got a man in our program. He is crushing it. And he discovered that he's always overgiven in every single relationship, and he was blocking his ability to actually receive because he didn't feel worthy of receiving. And this is what many of you are doing right now. Hello, used to be me 1000%, and I kept missing out. I wasn't allowing myself to be vulnerable. I wasn't allowing myself to be supported. I was blocking the support and the receiving at every turn, and I was setting it up like that. So then I could say, love doesn't work out for me. Men don't show up for me. Men don't know how to handle me. I'm too much. I'm too this. They just don't get me. I'm a free spirit. Can you relate? And I kept telling that story and beating that drum. And where do you think it got me? Groundhog Day. Until I went, fuck that. I am soulmate material. I am going to receive. I am fucking going to plug into my feminine and learn how to be vulnerable if it fucking kills me. And that is what I teach you in Soul to Soul. And that is worth over $100,000, right? Just that, learning to be vulnerable. Because until we can learn how to feel and connect with ourselves and love ourselves and share what's on our heart, you're not living. You're existing and living on a fucking spreadsheet, right? Calculating this, calculating that. Is this person going to be good for my family? Will they like him? Fuck off. Isn't that exhausting? You got to know yourself. You've got to know your value. And that's what we teach you. And that is why this is a high touch program. It's not just $999, go figure it out yourself. You get supported like a mother freaking queen every step of the way, because that's who you are and that's what you deserve. End of story. And you do not need more information. You need activation. And when you get that heart plugged in and your feminine turned in and your sensuality tapped in, turned on, coming to life, you're going to feel like the most fucking lit human on the planet. And you're going to be like, of course I can attract in my soulmate from this place. I can attract in anything from this place, right? And the universe brings it to you. The soulmate is one piece of the pie, right? The soulmate is the cherry on top of your 5-layer decadent cake. But we've got to get a new set of ingredients for you to build out this new cake, to make every single layer count with the most decadent icing you have ever created, with the most premium ingredients. It's a very different cake to the one you've been eating. Yours has had rocks in it. All right, so we've given you a couple of different analogies. We're going to go and have our dinner now because it's late. It's like 8:30. We've had such a ball chatting with you. Karina said, oh, yes, I've experienced this at a whole new level this week. To be fully expressed and vulnerable is everything. Yes. Karina's like done all our programs. She's a lifer. And Lauren, she's on every live. Love you, Lauren. So anyway, if you catch the replay, just put hashtag replay if you have any questions.
Hashtag replay.
Hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. So I know that you're watching the replay, and then just ask away and I'll get back to you. And of course, if you're feeling called to go, you know what? Fuck this more information bullshit. I'm ready to choose myself. Of course, we'll pop a link here so you can book in and see if we're a fit, see if we can help you. If you haven't watched my masterclass, go do that. It's free. It's pinned to the top of this group. All right. So we're sending you so much love. Please remember who you are. You've been put on this planet because you are phenomenal. You've got gifts inside of you. You've got love to give and you deserve to receive.
Yeah.
Right? You are a beautiful, incredible, amazing woman. And you want to say to yourself, new mantra, I am ready right now to step up. I am going to make this the year that I attract in my soulmate. Start declaring what you want instead of complaining about what you don't have. Thanks, Monica. We will enjoy our dinner. Sending you all huge, huge love. You're amazing. Mwah. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.